The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps just published a statement on its official verified government website that has no precedent in the history of modern warfare between nation-states. Not a social media post. Not an anonymous threat. Not a rumor circulating on Telegram. An official declaration, distributed by Agence France-Presse to every newsroom on Earth, stating that if the child-killing criminal is still alive, they will continue to pursue and kill him with full force. The man they are describing is Benjamin Netanyahu, the sitting Prime Minister of Israel, and the organization making that declaration is the most powerful military force in the Middle East outside of Israel itself. This is day 16 of Operation Epic Fury, and today this war crossed a line that no conflict between nation-states has crossed in the modern era. Iran has formally declared the assassination of a sitting head of government as an official military objective. Here is the conflict pair driving everything you are about to hear. On one side, Benjamin Netanyahu, a wartime prime minister who has not made a single unscripted public appearance in days, whose security services have placed him in a protection posture so extreme that the world's most powerful intelligence agencies cannot confirm his precise location. On the other side, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, an organization that has already fired more than 1,500 missiles and drones across 11 countries in 16 days and has now put in writing that killing Netanyahu is not a goal, it is a mission. Let that land, because this is not the same war that began on February 28. Start with the IRGC statement, because the words matter and every single word was chosen deliberately. The declaration read, "The unknown fate of the Israeli Prime Minister and the possibility of his death or escape along with his family reveal a crisis and the faltering situation of Israel. If the child killer is still alive, they will strongly keep chasing and killing him." Published on SEPA News, the IRGC's own verified official website, confirmed by Agence France-Presse, reported by every major wire service on Earth within minutes of publication. This is the first time in this war that Iran has explicitly and officially named the killing of a foreign head of government as a declared military objective. They have been firing missiles at Israel for 16 days. They have been targeting American military bases across the region. But this statement is categorically different. This is a formal written announcement that the Prime Minister of Israel is a named target of the Iranian military, and that the hunt for him is active, ongoing, and authorized at the highest level of the Iranian state. For context, and this context is essential, the United States and Israel killed Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei on the first day of this war. Iran is now formally declaring its intention to kill Israel's prime minister in response. The deliberate targeting of heads of state as official military objectives raises this conflict to a level of escalation that military scholars, legal analysts, and intelligence professionals are describing in terms they have not used about any conflict in recent memory. Now understand why the timing of this statement matters as much as the statement itself. The IRGC published this declaration on the same day that Netanyahu's own office was forced to issue a public statement confirming that the prime minister was alive and well. Think about what that sequence reveals. A sitting head of government, leading a country in the most intense military operation in its modern history, had to publicly confirm his own survival. That has not happened before, not in this century, not in the last one. The reason the confirmation was necessary brings us to the information war that exploded across the internet this weekend, a war that may ultimately prove as consequential as any missile launched in this conflict. On Friday, March 13th, Netanyahu posted a video to his social media account showing footage from a press conference. It seemed routine. Then social media users began examining the clip frame by frame. At the 35-second mark, as Netanyahu raised his hand, several viewers claimed they spotted an extra finger on his right hand. The classic artificial intelligence generation era models have always struggled to render human hands with consistent anatomical accuracy. The video spread instantly. Within hours, millions of people were watching it, paused, zoomed in, and shared with commentary. The hashtag questioning whether Netanyahu was dead trended globally across every major platform simultaneously. Was he hiding? Had an Iranian strike wounded or killed him and the Israeli government was concealing it? Was a government using artificial intelligence to fake the public presence of a leader it could no longer show in person? The analysis tool Grok, built by XAI, examined the viral clip and concluded the apparent extra finger was a visual illusion produced by hand angle, shadow, and natural palm features, not evidence of manipulated footage. Multiple independent forensic video analysts reached the same conclusion. The video was authentic. The 6 fingers were an optical illusion. Netanyahu is alive. But here is the deeper story that the viral moment revealed, and this is the part that matters far beyond the 6-finger debate. The rumor did not spread because the video was convincing evidence of a deepfake. The rumor spread because millions of people around the world considered it genuinely plausible that a wartime prime minister might be dead and his government might be hiding it. That is the real signal. Not that the technology fooled people, but that the conditions of this war have made the death of a head of government feel like a credible possibility in real time. Netanyahu had not been seen making any unscripted public appearance outside carefully controlled, official contexts for days before the video controversy erupted. His last confirmed visit to an active impact site in Israel was on March 6. His last independently verified phone call with a foreign leader occurred around March 5th. For a wartime prime minister leading the most intense military campaign his country has ever fought, where days without a verifiable unscripted public appearance is itself a signal that something has changed about the security calculus around his movements. And the reason for it is not mystery. It is strategy born of genuine threat. Netanyahu is the head of state of a country in an active shooting war with a military force that is now published in writing, that hunting him down and killing him is an active declared mission. Israeli security services would have every reason, every professional obligation to restrict his movements and public appearances to an absolute minimum. The security perimeter around his residence was reportedly heightened on March 8th to counter potential suicide drones. His press conference was conducted virtually, with Netanyahu appearing on a screen rather than in person. But here is what makes all of this even more extraordinary. The same question that the world is asking about Netanyahu, is he alive? Is he functional? Is he actually in command? Is simultaneously being asked about Iran's own new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, elevated to the position on March 8th after his father was killed in the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury, has not appeared on camera once in 16 days. Not once, not a single video, not a single live broadcast. His communications have reached the Iranian public through written statements read aloud by television anchors and photographs displayed on screens. He communicated through Telegram, the messaging app, because showing his face on a broadcast would tell Israeli or American forces exactly where to point the next missile. President Trump told NBC News and Fox News Radio on Saturday that he genuinely does not know if Khamenei is alive, adding that if he is alive, he should do something very smart for his country, and that is surrender. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had already said publicly on Friday that Khamenei is wounded and likely disfigured. Vice President J.D. Vance confirmed he is hurt, and the U.S. State Department has offered a $10 million reward for credible information about Khamenei's precise location and current condition. The leader of 89 million people is invisible, reportedly wounded, directing his country's military through intermediaries, through written statements, through a communication apparatus designed to function without ever revealing where he physically is. While the President of the United States is publicly questioning on national television whether he is drawing breath. This is the parallel that defines Day 16 more than any missile count or strike total. Both sides are publicly uncertain whether the other side's leader is alive and functional. Both sides are operating their military campaigns under a cloud of leadership ambiguity that has no modern precedent. This is not a war between governments in full command of their institutions. This is a war being fought on both sides, through layers of uncertainty about who is actually giving the orders and whether those orders are reaching the people responsible for executing them. The information war running alongside the physical war is not a secondary theater, it is a primary one. When the IRGC published its assassination declaration, it was not simply a military statement. It was a psychological operation designed to force the Israeli government to confirm Netanyahu's survival publicly, which itself creates the optic of a leader whose existence requires official confirmation. That is a victory for Iran in the information space, regardless of whether a single missile gets closer to Netanyahu. By forcing the confirmation, Iran established the narrative that the question of whether Netanyahu is alive is a legitimate open question, and once that narrative exists, it cannot be fully extinguished by any press release. This is modern information warfare at its most sophisticated level, not fabricating evidence, not creating false footage, simply creating conditions where the absence of evidence, the days without a live, unscripted appearance becomes evidence of something. The silence itself becomes the message. Now the military reality. On Day 16, the IRGC announced it had conducted its 52nd stage of retaliatory operations, targeting Israeli positions and 3 separate American military bases across the region. Iran launched 10 missiles and multiple drones targeting Al Dhafra Air Base in the United Arab Emirates, one of the most important American military installations in the entire Middle East, home to U.S. Air Force assets, French Rafale jets, and Australian Defense Force headquarters. Loud explosions shook Abu Dhabi. Smoke rose over the city. Structural damage was confirmed. The scale of Iran's attacks on the UAE throughout this war has been staggering. A total of 1,267 drones, 15 cruise missiles, and 285 ballistic missiles have been detected in the UAE alone as of Friday. The majority intercepted, but at least 2 missiles and 90 drones made impact, resulting in 6 deaths and 141 injuries. A Shade-type drone struck near the Fairmont, the Palm Hotel on Palm Jumeirah, causing a large explosion and fire. The Burj Al Arab was damaged when debris from an intercepted missile fell on it. Dubai International Airport has been temporarily closed multiple times as passengers and staff were directed to bomb shelters. An Iranian drone struck the U.S. consulate in Dubai, causing a fire that was quickly contained. Iran's Sunday attacks extended across the region simultaneously. Smoke rose from 2 locations around Tel Aviv after missile warnings from Iran. In Kuwait, 2 Iranian drones struck Ahmed Al-Jaber Air Base, injuring 3 Kuwaiti soldiers. Jordan intercepted 79 of 85 Iranian missiles and drones over the second week of the war, with 6 getting through. Across a single day, Iran conducted simultaneous attacks against Israel, the UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, demonstrating that even after 16 days of American and Israeli bombing, it retains a meaningful and coordinated offensive capability. Inside Iran, the human cost continues to mount. More than 24,500 civilian structures have been damaged in U.S. and Israeli bombardments, including nearly 20,000 homes, 4,500 businesses, and 69 schools. Iran's UN ambassador told the Security Council that more than 1,444 people have been killed and 18,500 injured. UNIS has reported that more than 1,100 children across the wider conflict zone have been killed or injured. The internet blackout inside Iran has entered its 16th consecutive day, confirmed as the most severe government-imposed internet shutdown in recorded global history. The American military picture described on Sunday was one of systematic Iranian military destruction. U.S. and Israeli forces have struck approximately 6,000 targets throughout Iran. Iran's ballistic missile capability has been reduced by an estimated 90%. Its drone capability is down 95%, and yet Iran keeps firing. Because the IRGC commanders who remain alive understand something that the strike numbers do not fully capture. You do not need 100% capability to change the outcome of a war. You need enough capability to make the cost of continuing unacceptable to the other side. The economic cost of this war is now reaching every household in America, regardless of whether those households are following the military developments. Brent crude closed above $100 a barrel for the second consecutive day, having surged more than 40% since February 28. Gas prices across the United States have increased by approximately 50 cents per gallon in just 16 days, an increase that shows up at every gas station, in every delivery cost, in every grocery price. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warned on Friday that the oil price surge threatens to reverse months of progress on inflation reduction and could keep interest rates elevated longer than previously anticipated, slowing economic growth and increasing costs for ordinary American families on everything from groceries to mortgage payments. G7 finance ministers are holding emergency consultations. Goldman Sachs has revised its 2026 economic growth forecasts downward for every major economy. Trump confirmed on Saturday that Iran has signaled it wants to negotiate a deal to end the war, but said the terms being offered are not good enough yet. His statement that Iran wants to talk is the first public confirmation by the President of the United States that the Iranian government has reached out seeking to end the conflict through negotiation. At the same time, Trump announced via Truth Social on Sunday that the United States and Israel have completely decimated Iran and that the conflict is essentially won from a military standpoint. Both statements cannot be simultaneously true. A military that has been completely decimated does not negotiate from a position where its terms are considered insufficient. A conflict that is essentially won does not produce official declarations of intent to hunt down and kill a sitting prime minister on its 16th day. What day 16 actually reveals is this. The IRGC has put the assassination of Benjamin Netanyahu in writing as a formal military objective. Netanyahu is alive but required official confirmation of that fact. Iran's own supreme leader has not been seen on camera once since the war began. Trump publicly questioned whether Khamenei is drawing breath. The U.S. State Department is offering $10 million to anyone who can confirm where he is. Iran launched 10 missiles at a major American airbase in Abu Dhabi. 69 schools inside Iran have been damaged. Oil is above $100 a barrel. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Both sides claim victory. Both sides are still firing. This is not a war approaching its end. This is a war in which both leaders are invisible. Both sides are claiming they are winning, and the most powerful military force in the Middle East has just published in writing that it is hunting the Prime Minister of Israel. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because the next development in this story will not wait for a convenient moment to arrive. Tell me in the comments, Iran has now officially declared it is hunting the Prime Minister of Israel. Do you believe this war ends at a negotiating table before that hunt produces a result? Or has this conflict already passed the point where any negotiation can contain what has been set in motion?